Hello and welcome to the YouTube channel of mprugs.com. Hope you and your family are doing well. Today's episode, this is actually going to be kind of sort of a follow-up to the previous one that I did where I compared two that were supposed to be Turkish Hurricane Aussie Peg rugs. One of them had a beautiful mirror design, the same as you see here. And I had asked you which one of the two, the genuine Turkish, which one turned out to be a Chinese one. And I explained to you a little bit about how I went about it. Well, in this episode, we got another similar situation. We have two, what is supposed to be antique rugs. We have a very old Sarough Persian wool runner. We also have what was advertised as a very old Persian Sarouk, as you can see here, with a beautiful mirab design. And I'm going to be featuring these two rugs, like I said, as a follow-up. This is something I get a lot of questions about. And that has to do with the older rugs, on how to tell whether something is actually old, antique, whether it's Persian or not. So this is a perfect scenario. Now, in the previous video, we turned it into a little bit of a game. This is something I've had over the years, that since we've had our channel, and I've had so many also clients at our website at mprugs.com that have been clients of mine, what seems like for life, being that the website is now over 25 years old. We have had so many who are passionate about rugs, and they like to learn about rugs, and they enjoy interacting with others like myself and showcase where they show me their rugs, or whether they ask me about questions about rugs that they're looking at buying. And here's a perfect scenario. This is an old piece, or supposed old piece, and it is not what it was advertised as being. And it's really rare, but it's also it's rare, but it's common. It's rare in the sense that here you have a carpet that we think it is actually most likely either a Turkmen or it could be Chinese. We have excluded the fact that, in our opinion, it is not Persian. We don't think it's Indian, and because it does have the Persian knot, as you can see in the pictures. It features a Persian knot, and it features some of the telltale signs of being made by somebody who, what we refer to as a greater Persian thing, whether it's Turkmen, whether it's Uzbek. We are excluding the Indians. We are not excluding that it could possibly have been made by Chinese weavers, but we're pretty certain that the wool and everything is not Persian, versus here you have a Persian Sarouk. This runner right here had the sides redone for one of our clients, and it's a beautiful example of what some people refer to as the American Sarouk. These rugs were made in the starting from about 1880 to about 1930, 1940, and they were made for overwhelmingly for the American market. These colors, the darkish navy blue and what has almost become like a rust color that you see in the background, very classic. And this is what you would expect to see also in the older rugs. When I lay this down, I will show you the differences and also give you some pointers and some tips on what to look out for when it comes to the old rugs. This is also why, for example, at our website at mprugs.com, we do not offer a whole lot of very old rugs simply because there is so much fraud. It is real important when you are buying an antique, whether it's a Persian rug or whether it's a Chinese rug, the value comes in the age and condition and everything, but also on whether or not a carpet has been restored or not. And this is very, very important. For example, we have a lot of the Turkish hurricane rugs that my family and I were real passionate about them, and to us it's almost like an addiction. But one of the things that we look for, this is, for example, the old Aussie pack that I featured in the previous video. This is a genuine piece. It also has the same marab design as you can see in the larger Sarouk that's behind it. But what is beautiful about it is the fact that it is completely untouched. And I do apologize, I just stated that the rug behind it is a Sarouk. It's actually not. We were calling it a Sarouk because of the colors and designs and everything, but I just want to notice that just caught myself with a mistake and I wanted to fix it right then and there. But with these hurricane rugs, it's real important for us. This is why I always tell people, we do not buy these older rugs without seeing them first in person. We need to feel them, we need to hold them, we need to examine them to make sure that these rugs are untouched. And that's really, really important for those of you that are the collectors of whether it's antique furniture, whether it is old watches, it doesn't matter. Generally speaking, if something has been restored, polished, refined, or in any shape or form, it loses value. And the same here. Also, I always tell folks, antique rugs, there is not, 90% of them are actually not as valuable as people think they are. And this is something that I commonly get emails about where folks ask us whether they have an antique rug and they inherited from their grandparents or something, and they ask us about the value and everything. And I always tell them, I said, you know what, you need to have the rug evaluated and appraised by someone who is knowledgeable and who is probably in your area, because when it comes to old rugs, condition is everything, and it needs to be evaluated in person. We have, just to give you a perfect example, I made a video where I featured a Kashan rug, a large piece. This is a video where I compared it and literally talked about the value of it and everything. Well, at the time when the rug was sold, the person could have bought themselves a brand new Mercedes. Now the person or their grandchildren, when they approached us, we told them, look around. You can get these things on eBay for $500 or $600. What do you want us to do? Yes, back then they were told that these are investment rugs, but we're facing reality. And that is what we also tell folks when it comes to whether it is the Turkish hurricane rugs, the Persian rugs in general. I'm not one to tell you that you're buying something and it's going to go up in value. What I am telling you is that it's a fact that when you make a purchase, that genuinely speaking, when you start using something, the value goes down. But when you buy something that is antique, when you buy something that is old, yes, it can go up in value, but a lot of it has to do not only with supply and demand, but also authenticity. And so here we have two pieces. Wanted to go up front and be as open about it as I can be, as I always am. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay these on the ground along with a couple of other antique Sarouk rugs and show you, because this is a classic example. I want to be able to give you some pointers of what to look for when you are looking at an advertised older Persian rug. So before I do, just want to let you know, as always, if you have questions about any rugs that you may own yourself and you just need some general information, please feel free to look below in the description. There is a link to a video that tells you the kind of pictures that I need, the size and everything. Feel free to email us. And then also, this channel is all about handmade rugs. I feature some of the most beautiful types of rugs that I can get my hands on. I also try to be informative and cover as many different types of rugs as I can. So if you like the channel, feel free to hit the subscribe button. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to give you guys close-ups, and I'll see you guys again later at the end. So here I am, and I should warn you, I got the camera in my hand, so hopefully it won't get too shaky like it happened in the previous video. But here what I did was I laid out 4 older, what was supposed to be Sarouk rugs. Now, as I mentioned to you, the large piece below, we're not too sure about its origin. We're 99% sure that it is not Persian. But that's as far as we're going to go on this. But I wanted to give you a few pointers with these older rugs. If you are looking at whether it is restoring one or whether it is you're looking at buying one, I'm just going to give you a few pointers. For example, we had an old Sarouk rug. This was somebody, we purchased this as it is, but as it was, the owners told us that years ago, the fringes started falling apart. They started coming undone. And so they took it to a shop, and they basically, as you can see, they get rid of all the fringes, and then they sewn this thing in basically to keep the rug from coming undone. They did the same thing at the top and bottom, which is great if you're looking at keeping a family piece. You're not worried. They were, I think, I was hoping they were not that worried about value or anything, because these are not the kind of rugs that are overly expensive. And if you are looking at buying a rug, this is obviously a genuine Sarouk. You can see the sides and everything. This is all original. If you look at it, you'll see that there are plenty of what some people would call flaws. We simply call them wear and tear. This is what we expect to see in genuine Persian rugs that are very old. But obviously, by having this done, this greatly reduced the value. But again, we're not talking about a rug that would be worth, in our opinion, tens of thousands. So this was a family piece that had been in the family for many years, and they simply wanted it to remain that way. So restoring the rug, having it trimmed and everything was a great way for it to be preserved, but obviously, in our opinion, killed the value of it. Then here we had earlier the runner that I featured, and you will notice the fringes are pretty much as is. Nothing has been done, but they had one of the most common things. You can see by the sides. This is very common. This is part of the rugs that will get wear out the quickest. And it is very common to have them replaced. And as you can see here, they took this into a rug store and they had it redone. Other than that, the rug was pretty much left untouched. But as you can see here, the rug, the coloring doesn't seem to match. It's it's clearly the patina is there. The rug itself shows all the signs that we need to see in an old rug. The pile has worn thin. Everything is perfect. This is a beautiful, older, borderline antique Sarouk. But as you can see, there is no way that anybody is going to convince an expert that these sides are as old as the rug itself. And this, again, is where restoration damaged the rug. when it comes to the value. It's a great way to preserve the rug, but it's a horrible way to basically keep its value. Then here's a small, very little one. This little Sarouk is actually worth more than these two pieces right here, because collectors, this is what they look for. Here is a rug that is completely untouched. The sides, the fringes, everything on this rug is as is. There is nothing that has been done to it. And this is what you also want to look for. Look for the very ends. For example, in a lot of the antique rugs, you will see that fringes are worked over. And I'm just going to flip this over. When you see this right here, if this is supposed to be an antique, older Persian rug, the fringes wouldn't be white. The fringes would also not be as clean as they are. And this I'm just going to zoom in on this. And this is where typically the shaking comes in. This yarn right here, which basically ties them together, this would not be as clean and as undamaged if this was an antique rug. And so this is where, again, when you look at the older rugs, look for flaws. You expect there to be wear and tear. I'm just going to flip this over. This was supposed to be an old rug. This is a genuine old rug. Both of them are Sarouks. You can see how there are wear and tear and stress, whereas on this larger piece, it's all uniform. There doesn't seem to be any aging or usage. And so these are the things that we look for when we look at older rugs. So I hope that this also answers many of your questions when it comes to older Persian rugs. So I'm just going to come back to you real quick and say my final goodbyes. So I hope this video was of help to you as far as helping you figure out how you can tell the difference between a rug that's old, whether it's something that is worthwhile or whether it's something that you should be passing on. Again, it's one of so many videos that we have. There are other videos about similar topics. Feel free to subscribe or check out our videos. Also, again, there's a lot more information at mprugs.com and everything. Feel free to let us know if you have questions. As always, I'm going to be coming back to you with many more videos to come. In the meantime, wishing you and your family the very best till we see each other again. Take care. Bye-bye.